Hi, my name is Damien, and well, frankly, I don't expect you to recognize me from anything. I don't know if you're anything like me, but there are times when I very much enjoy being surrounded by people. I like spending time with good friends. I like spending time with various loved ones. I love visiting people, but I don't always feel comfortable just dropping in. And there are other days when I just very much enjoy my alone time. There are some days when I am just so happy, and I'm just so happy to just be alive. And then there are other days. There are other days when I can feel a bit low. There are days that feel dark. There are days that feel heavy. Perhaps it's the social distancing and the unavailability of regular diversions, not to mention other variables, of course. But several days this week have seemed darker to me, despite the increased sunshine. I suspect that everybody gets a case of the morbs from time to time. There are times when people are going to feel gloomy or people are going to feel sad, and there are times when there are some who are just going to have out-and-out depression. Now, depression is a difficult thing for people to understand who have never had depression. See, it's not something that you can just snap out of or make yourself not feel. It's a disorder. It's a disorder that people have that has mental, emotional, and physical ramifications to it as well. I believe that people of faith, particularly the Christian faith, have a lot to be happy about. But that doesn't mean that we can't or even that we shouldn't be allowed to feel, even if those feelings aren't always happy. A good friend of mine recently told me, it's okay to not always be okay. And I believe that she's right. Moses, a great leader of God's people, after having a mountaintop experience with God himself, came down from the mountain and called back to God, "Erase my name from the book in which you have written the names of your people." Jonah, the prophet of big fish fame, prayed, "So now, Lord, take my life. I'd rather be dead than alive." The prophet Jeremiah struggled with feelings of loneliness and insecurity. He's often referred to as the weeping prophet. He was a faithful man of God. And yet of his own life he said, "Let there be a curse on the day I was born. Let there be no blessing on the day when my mother gave birth to me. Why did I have to come out of the womb? All I have known is trouble and sorrow, and my days will end in shame." Elijah, another faithful prophet of God, who got to witness and be used for some amazing things for God's glory, when he felt defeated by Jezebel, he called out to God, "I have had enough," he told the Lord. "Take away my life. I've got to die sometime, and it might as well be now." The great King David often struggled with his own feelings of weakness, trouble, mourning, and despair. Many of the Psalms in Scripture are recorded of his anguish. He wrote, "Why, I ask myself, are you so depressed? Why are you so upset inside?" King David's son, Solomon, often considered the wisest man who ever lived, starts off the book of Ecclesiastes by saying, "I observed everything going on under the sun, and really, it is all meaningless, like chasing the wind." And then toward the conclusion of the book, he says, "Everything is meaningless, completely meaningless." Even Jesus was described as a man of sorrows and familiar with pain. It's okay to not always be okay, but you don't have to wallow there. Talking about some of these heroes of the faith who also struggled with their own dark days, their own depression and what have you, it isn't just to reassure you that you're in good company, although you are. It's also to point out that while they were able to admit where they were at, that's the thing. They were able to admit it. They were honest about it. They didn't pretend like everything was okay. They didn't pretend like everything was sunshine and roses or peaches and cream or whatever. They were honest about it. They were honest to God about it. They called out to God for help, and they reached out to other people for help as well. Sometimes I'll joke that self-loathing is my oldest and dearest friend, because self-loathing has always been there for me. It's been there for me longer than anyone else I've ever known. But what you need to understand, what you need to keep in mind, is that those negative voices, the ones that have maybe been talking to you for years, the ones that tell you that you're unworthy of love, that you're not good enough, whatever else they might be telling you, you need to realize that those voices are liars. Don't trust them. Take a moment and think about someone you love, at least one person. Now take a moment and think about someone who loves you. Again, at least one person. And while you're at it, think about why they love you. And don't worry, this isn't an arrogant thing either. Think about some of the reasons that they gave you, some of the things that they've told you about why they love you, about what they love about you. Look, the fact is, you've been listening to those negative voices tell you lies for long enough. Don't you think it's time you tried listening to some of those true voices? The ones that tell you why you're loved and that you're loved? You know, you might very well be someone's greatest blessing this year. As Christians, it is our heavenly responsibility to show and to share love to other people. And I believe that it's every human being's right to expect to receive love. Usually when I go to my mailbox, I can expect to find junk mail or the occasional bill, or sometimes it's just empty. Just the other day, though, I went to my mailbox, and when I opened it up, I saw a pleasant change to the norm. There was an actual personal letter inside. Now, it was just a short note from my mother, and in it she included $5 to go to Tim Hortons for a coffee. She also included a reminder that she loves me. I wish that I could convey to you how much that meant to me. Think of that person who loves you. Think of someone you love. At the very least, think of someone you want to thank for something. And then, at some point today, grab some paper, grab a pen, and write that person a letter. It doesn't have to be an eloquent letter. It doesn't even have to be a long letter. Just make it a sincere expression of your gratitude. It can be as simple as something like this. Dear person, you came to my mind today, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for what you add to my life. I am so blessed to know you. Love, signed by you. Not only will writing a letter like that help you to focus on some of the love and some of the good in your own life, but the person receiving it will get a much needed boost as well. And then chances are they'll reach back out to you and just continue to pour more love into your life. Write that letter today. Call out to God and reach out to people. In fact, try to make a habit of it. Now, I'm not claiming that this is going to end all bad days or this is going to somehow be the cure to depression. But it might just help. Besides, what's wrong with showing a little love to someone? What have you got to lose? The night may be filled with tears, but in the morning, we can sing for joy. Thank you very much for listening to what I had to say. I hope that it blessed or at least helped you in some way. And remember, call out to God, reach out to people. They care about you. I know that I would rather someone I care about called me and woke me up at 4 in the morning. I'd rather they did that than for me to wake up and find out they've deprived me of the blessing of their company forever. So remember, call out, reach out, and know that you're loved.